Ladies and gentlemen, it has arrived. Dark Faction DLC is here. So what's in it? New weapons, new blocks, new turrets. These are actually turrets. Possibly some new motorbikes. That's the first I've seen of it. New blocks. Weapons, swords, the melee combat system. Not terribly in-depth, kind of basic. There's only really one attack, just kind of a swipe. A little bit of a recharge timer on that, so you can think like mods and stuff would edit that. Now there is a secondary effect going on. You hit the right mouse button. There it is. Okay, so is that a shield or not? Or does that apply some additional bonus damage or something? I'm not sure. Let's go find out. See if we can go get something to get hostile towards us. Okay, maybe. Okay, yeah. So some of these little guys here should be willing to take a bite. Okay, so it might be. Let's see here. Let's get the shield back up. There's a little bit of a cooldown timer. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. So it is a shield effect. Oh, it looks like an AoE swing. Alright, that's cool. Yeah, so a shield effect. That was one of my concerns with the melee combat system is there really wouldn't be an advantage against players, or, well, I guess possibly players too, but against NPCs, like what benefit would you offer with a close-range weapon versus a gun, for example? So here they've answered that effect, or answered that question with a shield effect. Seems pretty viable. The difference between the two swords, it looks like they're providing a different bonus amount. So this one right here looks to be just a 1,000, where the other one would double that value. This might be a little faster on the attack though. Let's see. Yeah, it might be about the same. Yeah, I guess it's about the same. But fortunately, an AoE attack looks like a swing will swipe through a group of enemies, so that's definitely a perk for the melee system. Now, yeah, I was thinking maybe there might be something a little bit more complex, like an overhead swing, maybe kind of would angle the swing from which direction you're facing. So if you think of like Mounts and Blade or Bannerlord, was thinking that might be a possibility. So kind of early stage with what it is. But it's serviceable. So with the shield effect, it does seem to provide a viable option as opposed to ranged gameplay. Yeah, pretty cool so far. Depleting shield. Once that goes out, looks like there's a little bit. Or will I be able to charge this thing back up right now? No, I can't. You'd have to wait for the shield to deplete in order for you to be able to recharge it back up. I think there's an issue going on here. Might be a bug or something already. So once let's see. Yeah, you charge the shield value and you go to third-person view. There's no indicator of what the value is, and if you go back to first person, yeah, there's no display. So I don't know if the shield is active or not. Guess we could take a look here if these guys want to swing at me if I go straight to... Are they fighting each other? Okay, well, okay. That answers that. You know, maybe I had the shield on, maybe I didn't. So possibly the shield is dropping with the switch to third person, so keep that in mind. Alright, so that's the melee system. Looks like just two swords so far. Nothing fancy like a battle axe or a mace or anything to that effect, just currently 2 swords. You'd have to think that would grow. So a boat, pretty cool. Looks like 2 options here. You have a standard arrow, you have a explosive arrowhead. You can see the strain. See that indicator in the bottom right? That's determining. So the longer you pull on that, the further or the farther the arrow will go. So that was a full draw. So if we just pull on it a little bit, let's say there's no fire there. Okay, you see. So that doesn't go as far, right? Okay, that sounds nasty. Let's see what this is looking like. Full effect though. Interesting. No damage? There it is. Okay, so kind of lackluster in the damage if there's even a hit registry. Okay, so that's a standard arrow and also a... To reload first, select standard arrow. Select this mode before reloading arrowheads. Ah, okay, well. Do I really need to reload that? How's this working? Okay, I see. So, well, that's interesting. You have to switch to standard in order to reload the whole thing. Okay, there we go. Right, so definitely an improvement over the standard arrow. Not that big of a range on the explosion radius. I think maybe they... I guess they wanted to consolidate the bow onto one device, so that's maybe why we have this sort of situation going on, switching between the standard and explosive arrow. Okay, so doesn't seem to be a debuff in the draw speed with movement. There's no penalty to that, so that's fine. Yeah, okay, so 2 modes for the bow. Same thing for the grenade launcher, I presume. So we have a standard mode and a timed 3 seconds delay. So grenade launcher. Here we also have that... Oh wow, where'd that... Here we also have that strain, or I guess draw power. That went like right between his legs. Wow. I don't. Is he taking? Okay, he did take a little bit of damage, but looks like the explosion radius is kind of really short range on this thing. That's a direct hit. No reload. Oh, you gotta do the same thing with this? Hold the left mouse button. Select this mode before reloading arrowheads. Alright, so maybe we kind of messed up on some of the text there. This item cannot be used here. Volume capacity. Oh, because I've got... Alright, yeah. I got all the blocks. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure why that's not reloading. Grenade. Multi-mode. Okay, so time delayed. Okay, there it is. Okay, so this is delay timer, right? 3 seconds. Look at a ricochet, that's pretty cool. Oh, wow. That's interesting, the ricochet. I like that. Wow, that really bounced for... Let's go over here. That is one heck of a bounce radius, or bounce length. Look at that. Interesting. This is going to be great in POIs. Popping shots, bouncing them around corners. Really cool. Wow, okay, I like this. This is pretty cool. Love it. Yeah, so that's the grenade launcher. Next thing is the laser blaster. Far. Presuming that's something you get as a reputation bonus or something to that effect. So we run out of things to shoot at. This whole planet, you can't really... doesn't seem to be a changing time. Or at least, certainly, the GM options aren't opening that up. Come on now. Let's see. GM. Yeah, there's no way to determine the global time here, which is interesting. Probably just a storyline related thing, or maybe this is going to be the case for all of the planets that are infected by the Dark Faction. I like the effect of it, though. Gives some really cool, eerie vibes. Anything going on in this planet? It's a map. No. So there's probably something here that's activated from the storyline. I'm skipping that stuff. I don't want to spoil that. So that could be something you want to look for in maybe some of the people's playthroughs. But right now, just want to look at some of the devices, weapons, and stuff like that. Right, so not a whole heck of a lot more to offer over this as far as like the additional weaponry. I think that's it. So a couple other things here are the potentially new Hoverbikes. I've never noticed these. And they also seem to have an effect going on here where you can toggle between a parked mode. Well, it's that's interesting. What's going on there with the texture? Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about that. Just maybe something going on with the textures on these devices. Okay, this seems to be intentional. It just looks like some different paint jobs. I don't know if there's anything completely different about them. Basically the same thing. Right. Okay, so I've not... What is this here? The Howler. Yeah, same thing. I don't think that's anything new over the existing one, just a different model. Let's see here. So how does this work? When parked, e-save. Equip on the toolbar, place can be crafted into a parked variant for placing onto a base or capital vessel by any small, large, or advanced constructor. So what's up with that? All right. Put this constructor down, see what's going on. So how do we... Is it... Okay, so maybe it's something... Alright, so it's probably you put this into the container and... Right? Is that what it is? You put it into the container? Okay. And then what? So the vehicle? What are we looking for here? Deco? Alright, okay, so that's it. Well, that's interesting. So now, is it... Okay, so it's like a parked mode. Alright, so now, it's not... You don't have to worry about a timer. You can't... Okay, so it's like a seat now. But it could be deco. Well, okay, that's cool. Well, that would really add to like some immersion effect. So imagine like a hanger inside of a CV or something like that, having these as deco. And then, let's see, left shift to pick up, you put it down, is it deco again? Okay, so then it converts into the vehicle. Okay. All right, well, interesting. Well, kind of, I don't know, kind of a convoluted system, but it does open up some options as far as like deco and ways to store the vehicle without a timer removing them. So that's pretty cool. I like it as a deco effect. That's pretty interesting. So a number of changes with like the interfaces and stuff. A couple minor tells, like a distinction. So let's see here if we look at our constructor. So have like a small constructor with a different background. So a little bit of a change to the UI, distinguishing some of the different devices from each other. Let's see. So we've got also like the tier 2 multi-tool. There's a distinction now on the icon itself, determining the difference between the tier 1 and tier 2. So that's a lot easier. I guess for a veteran player, it's easier with the eagle eyes. You can see like that bar there. That's an easier tell, but maybe not for some of the newer players or people who aren't too familiar with that. Okay, so we have some different things going on here. Looks like a different type of equipment, material. It seems to be crafted from this research station, or is unlocked from the research station. So let's see what's going on with that. Enter dialogue state. Okay. That part of the... Okay, simulate research. Okay, alright. I'm not sure, did placing down the station unlock that or not. Source material required for crafting basic materials and intermediate products. Right, so this is our... Okay, so this is what we're going to do to unlock. Looks like they have some other things planned here. Some bridges leading down for some other things, so they got some... Looks like they have some things planned. So not just this, new materials or new items or something to that effect. Huh. Yeah, so everything else looks like typical device configurations. Not seeing anything else new. Thruster Jet 2 XL. That branding might be different. Yeah, just some minor changes here as far as like the UI stuff. The introduction of the simulate research. That's interesting. So yeah, so that's how we're unlocking our new devices, swords. So, but the grenade launcher is an upgrade over the bow. Okay. Right, so the other thing is, yes, new blocks, new turrets. Very cool. So you can think like, imagine, yeah, oh wow. So it's gonna unlock a lot of things. So imagine like a Zerg build, a Zerg Overlord, or maybe like a Hydralisk or something for a CV. Is it? No, a Mutalisk, that's what I'm thinking of. A Hydralisk, I think that's the little ground infantry piece that shoots spikes. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. They're kind of going out there with these additional devices, block selection, so this is really changing the game as far as what sort of aesthetics we're going to have to operate with as builders. Both for Oh, look at that thing opens up, both for like CVs and as well as PLI generators. So there's going to be a lot going on. So imagine, you know, again, like some Zerg vehicles or maybe like a Wraith hive ship or some sort of vampiric type ships. There's a lot of options. There's going to be a lot of creativity going on around these blocks. Really interesting. So these are all weapons. These are all turrets. Let's throw down a seat and see what's going on with this. Where's the... Did they rename the control station? Cockpits. Okay. So do we need to go for a seat for the base? Yeah, okay, I guess it'll work. Or is there some way, can we access that? Press F. Oh, wow. Oh, look at this. All right. Don't need to get into a seat now? Is that also a thing? Okay, so I'm just kind of hanging out there, kind of exposed. I don't know how I feel about that. Is it accessible from a seat, too? And also, is that, let's see, let's look. Is that also a thing for CVs? Okay, alright, so you need to be seated for that. So maybe it's just the new devices. Let's see here, let's just work the standard way. Yeah, okay, so that does. Well, this is a... Wow, I don't know what's going on with that one. Yeah. So standard straight shot projectile. Kind of, gun depression is somewhat terrible on this. And there are some weird things going on with the rotation here. It seems to default back. There's no external view. Okay. So that was me rolling the mouse wheel to the left, and it just all of a sudden kind of defaulted back to... So is there not like... Okay, so this is kind of like on a fixed gimbal. It doesn't look like there's going to be a 360-degree rotation on that one. Is that the case for all of these? Okay, so maybe it's just that one. Well, that is something else. Gun depression's a little better on this one. Faster fire rate. There's no secondary fire modes on either one of these. Okay, so that's interesting. What is this? A modified blaster turret. So that doesn't have a 360 rotation. Is that the case for this one as well? Yeah, that just kind of... It just rolls back. So I don't know if that's intentional or if that's a bug. So I'm not sure what the difference is between these, the modified and the blaster turret. Let's see here. So blaster turrets, based on the teleport turret. Teleport turret. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing going on there as far as like a weapon or ammunition variance. Yeah. So it's... Well, that's interesting. So there's some issue going on there if that's not intentional. Remote control siege cannon. So there are some control issues going on with this as well. Alright, this has to be a bug. My controls are just absolutely crazy right now. So there's no... Oh wow. One heck of a round, though. There's no, like, there's no gun depression. This is all it is. I can only rotate left or right, and then that will default, or it'll roll back. Like this. So that's it. So now it's adjusting. Okay, maybe there's some sort of issue going on with these, so... This is what, remote control siege cannon, and this is a modified siege cannon, so I'm not sure what the modification is. So this would be some sort of different take on artillery. This thing's still in a reload phase, wow. Okay. Right. Oh, wow. Okay. Maybe there's some work in progress with these. Or maybe that's just intentional. They want to limit their arcs. Maybe it's more of like an AI thing primary. As far as the turrets, just for the dark faction. And then also maybe for on the player ships. So maybe there won't be an issue with the AI controlling these. It might just possibly be like the player mounted position that's causing an issue. Yeah, I'm not sure. So that's our new turrets. Now we have some additional deco and some pretty cool looking blocks going on here. So what is this here? This is a teeth door. I did see this previously. Okay, this is a double wide one. I'm not sure if this one is working. Let's see here. No, this one is not opening up at the moment. There's some sort of... Okay, so you can actually go through it. So it's just not... There's no collision mesh there. Okay, you can actually still go through that. The door open or close. So a couple things for them to work out, but this is look at this thing. This is hilarious. Okay, so that's that one's working. Very disturbing. Are there any... Okay, so there's no right-click menu options on that. There is... Okay, so there is on the smaller one. Teeth door, passage... Yeah, I can see the comments. I can see... that is really disturbing. The dark and creepy faction. We have a double wide one. Should be rotatable, I presume? Yeah, okay. Okay, so we're gonna have to put like a half block ramp or something and get up there. Alright, I can see what's going on. Imagine whimsical builds. That's definitely gonna happen, right? Whimsical builds are gonna come from this. Like, you get the mouth here, there's gonna be some eyeballs. And, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. People are just gonna have a field day with these things. Right. So this is accessible just by walking over. Now these, if we... Can we walk over? Okay, yeah. So we need like some sort of thin block ramp to lead up to this in order for that to be workable. But... Oh, yeah. Okay, so... Wow. Gonna be some POIs, some crazy POIs coming out of this, some crazy ships. Whimsical builds, you name it. So what else do we have here? We have a dark faction field generator. It generates a dark faction, or a dark field within a specified radius. So, let's see, what's this? The field negatively affects all devices, weapons, and tools that are not based on Similite technology. Oh, wow. Well, does that mean that the Similite ones are going to be positively affected? What is this doing? Yeah, this is really screaming Zerg. Dark field generator. Alright. There's definitely gonna be some Zerg builds. Zerg bases. You know, like Hive Overlord ships. That is definitely gonna happen. Okay, Neutralizer, so that kind of reverses the effects of Dark Field. So this generates one and this reverses one, so... You're gonna be in a bevy of options between, do you want the Dark Field or do you not want it? And then what are the perks? What are the pros and cons to having it versus not having it with some of these devices and weapons? Specialized. Okay, let's look at that. So I see. Okay, this is all the same thing here. So another neutralizer. Wow. I'm not seeing. Okay, so this is just. Yeah, it's hard to say what this effect is here. Oh, wow. Yeah. We'll just ignore that. Okay, so I don't see some sort of effect going on outside of what's present there. What is it doing? And then also, if you see there's some sort of icon at the top right, a red icon with something, looks like something that's building up. I have no idea what that is. So there's definitely a lot going on with this DLC as far as the mechanics. Okay, so that is our... I think that's all of our devices. Actually, we got a couple things to look at here. So let's look at some of these blocks. Similite block. So this is our new block, and we have some interesting new block choices here. Very disturbing. So new blocks, and I do believe some new textures. So we have a color tool. Okay, what's up with that? Okay, so we could do our standard. Okay, we could do our standard blocks here. Our standard textures. That's a good thing. So I was concerned, like, okay, so will these shapes be available to the old blocks with the old textures? So looks like we have a good range of the original textures on these new blocks, so that's cool. We'll be able to utilize these. Yeah, there's going to be a lot going on here, so this is not just... It doesn't have to be a boon just for, like, organic builds. This is also... These shapes can be incorporated into some of the more traditional builds. It's just, like, you know, effects going on, like piping or whatever you can think of. So, yeah, really, really good, not just for these organic-based builds, but also going to be a nice boon to any sort of standard building schemes. Really cool. Let's see. So let's look at some of these other textures here. So it's got like, is that... Okay, so that's also a Xeno texture mixed in. And we have some new ones here. Kind of has like a reptilian look to it, so... Yeah. Well, that's much better. Sort of like a lava rock or something. That's also nice too. A lot of new options with these textures. I'll like to see the new texture choice. It's going to be a lot of play with these. Okay, we know what that is already. That's the camo. So a lot of these are just like the basic Xeno, but we do have some new. Okay, what about colors? How are colors impacting these? Color is not impacting the new texture at the very least. So what's it doing? Yeah, okay, so it doesn't look like color will be impacting some of these new textures. That's unfortunate. Okay. So what else we got here? Okay, it's like some sort of good-looking concrete or something that... Yeah, okay, no color impact there either. This is okay, so this looks like a leather. Huh. Yeah. Alright. Interesting. Nice for the new textures. Unfortunate that color does not impact those. Yeah. So it's just whatever color we have. Okay. Let's see. So there's a joining block for that, if I'm not mistaken. Is that... Okay, it's kind of like a mix and match thing. Yeah, I guess that's the proper one. Nice. Yeah, so this will do a lot to... Actually, you know what? Let's look and see if the old textures will be color moddable here. Okay, alright, so... Well, that's... At the very least, that's a good thing, right? So maybe not for the new textures, but the old textures can apply to the new blocks as well as the old textures being moddable with color, so... overall, it's a win. A lot of good new choices with these shapes. You know, again, like I said, there's some interesting things going on, so... not only organics, but you can think also like... these would be good for generating caves. So for like POIs... Really good for generating some sort of like, you know, rock development, rock formation, stuff like that. These would be really helpful for that. Yeah, these are really cool. I like some of these disruptions here. It's just going from like a thin block to a half block there, but also has some gaps. There's gonna be a lot of interesting things to be doing with these. I'm really liking some of these new shapes. So I was concerned at first, is it just gonna be these new blocks with their own distinct textures, but you know, being that that's not the case and we can use some of these old ones again, that's going to be really good. So it's quite hideous. Okay, anyways, so yeah, new blocks, and let's see what else we got going on. So I think we got some new deco, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Did they add anything to the tree selection? Let's actually, you know what? We do have this block here. Is this also the same thing? Yeah, so it just looks like an armored version. Let's just make sure that... Okay, color doesn't determine anything on these either, so... both of the new blocks with the new textures can't change color. But the old textures can be applied to the new block, so there's at least that. Let's see, organic deco, thymolite plant. Now these are interesting here. Let me show you these. Very cool, very cool. All right, so let's see. Alright, so there's no new plants, unfortunately. Now, I hope someday to be able to see some trees. Look at this thing. Oh wow, there's a lot of choices here. So what is this? Adult, growing, young? Does it supposed to emanate something? I'm not sure what's going on there with that. Maybe there's something that triggers it. Or maybe it's just the fact that I don't have I don't have a generator and some fuel. That could be a thing. Alright, so we have our Simulite plants. Not sure if these are supposed to be doing some sort of glowing effect or something, but what's going on with these? We can't interact with them? Make a squishing sound. Okay, that's nice. Dump. Have an egg. So egg is apparently storage. 750. Off-center variant. So this would be good for, oh my goodness, okay, I can see the POIs coming out of these things. Alright. Very disturbing. Imagine like Alien. Yeah, that's where we're going with that. So 750, these are all kind of like double the storage. Are these accessible from the menu? Yeah, it looks like they are. So tread carefully on that. You don't want to blow up your cargo listing. Let's see, we got a nest. Partially overlapping. Yeah, it is indeed partially overlapping. Complex roots. Okay. Well, that's gonna open up some nice deco options for bases. If that's something we can indeed interact with, like, can we place these? Is this gonna be a legal block? I'm not sure about that. So the other thing here is the volume fog sphere and box, and these are pretty cool. Look at this. So this is the sphere the box doing. Okay, so look at that. Look at that effect. That is pretty cool. Like that volumetric effect. Is it... Let's see, can we determine the... Let's see, devices. Oh, wow, look at this, man. You can... Wow. Oh, that's cool. If that's going into ships, oh, okay. So imagine like builds. I can see like Transylvania castle builds going on. There's graveyards, like spooky graveyards, like Halloween themed stuff going on. There's gonna be a lot. There's a lot of creativity to be had with these things. So is that... Can we change the color on that though? That's the question here. Does a light does not really penetrate this thing, so can be set up to signal logic, so that's interesting as well. NPC2 trigger detect non-piloted vehicles. Is that new? So maybe this is just something for POIs. I'm not sure if this is something that's accessible to the player. Yeah, this thing just gets lost. Look at that. Let's see, what happens if we take it down to 1? Okay. I think there's a word for that. What is it? Tryptophobia? Don't look that up. Yeah, so I think that is everything, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty cool with these devices here. BK1 volume block. Yeah, so that's these are probably just something for POIs and stuff. So is it... Well, let's see. Let's look at one of the crafting menus. Maybe that's something on there. Get an advanced constructor. What have we got here? Process Simulite. Yeah, so... Okay. So we have some of these... Are these the ones that... Okay, I think these are ones that have the 360-degree rotation, so... I'm wondering if maybe those other turrets don't work, or are not intended for the base, for the player to use anyway, so maybe that's the case with this. Maybe that's what it is, so... Yeah. It could be that the turrets that didn't fully rotate aren't intended for players, so there's that. Okay, so... Yeah, this is the first look at Dark Faction DLC. Just a real quick look. There's there's a lot going on related to the game as far as like how this faction spreads and all that. So I'm not going into that. This is just kind of a cursory look at some of the new. Oh, okay. Electrostatic anomaly. Right, this is interesting. Right. So yeah, so just kind of looking at some of the new toys, new weapons and stuff like that, new turrets, all the good stuff. Good shinies, everything we can work with, the new blocks, that's going to be great. Going to be a lot of interesting workshop builds to be coming out of that. POIs for the game. A lot of interesting stuff, so yeah. I think that pretty much covers it as far as like the devices and all that, so... Now, I'd recommend the game, or the DLC rather. Looks like a pretty interesting addition to it. There's a lot going on as far as like the story stuff. So, and then also working with this dynamic faction that's spreading across the galaxy. That's a really cool, new, interesting mechanic being brought to Empyrion. So glad to see stuff like that. You can imagine that'll also kind of pan out to some of the scenarios. People will be able to utilize that, think of Reforge Eden, various other servers that have their own custom content could make use of stuff like that. So, yeah, really cool, really nice first look to what we got going on here. Yeah, I would say this is above my expectations. Now, there are some things prevalent with the bugs and some of the stuff we looked at with the shield. The shield on the melee weapons and how that's maybe going away when you're switching third person, so that's the thing. There needs to be a more robust melee system, but I guess being that this is their first iteration of it, then there's that room for potential growth. So, yeah, pretty cool so far. I like it. So, you're interested, check it out. A lot of new cool toys, new things going on with the scenario. If I'm understanding correctly, right now it's just like a single-player co-op thing, but eventually they're looking at server hosts for that, so that would be great. I'd love to see some of this stuff go to multiplayer servers and people fighting this faction together as big groups. So yeah, that's it, folks. So till next time, LyfeForce out. Hey, folks, if you enjoy my content, please consider becoming a patron today. As a patron, you gain access to exclusive builds not featured on the workshop, early access builds, as well as participate in a number of things, including polls, feedback, comments, suggestions, ideas, or anything you'd like to submit to current and future builds. If any of this appeals to you, please consider becoming a patron today. Link in the pinned comment below. Thank you.